Hello, fellow explorers. Do you resonate with having been in a false twin flame relationship? If so, you're certainly not alone. It's sort of the flavor of the moment right now. So many people coming forward to talk about their false twin flame experiences. So what can you do bringing that relationship forward into your mind? What can you do to learn what you needed to learn from that relationship and ultimately bring it to a resolution? Let's go ahead and jump on into this timeless tarot pick a card reading and find out. Welcome, fellow explorers. Welcome to the Mystic Lemur. Welcome to those of you who've been returning. I'm so glad to see you again, and welcome to you newcomers. I hope to see you again very soon. But as we are jumping on into this pick a card reading, my name is Rita, and it's my honor to be your guide through the messages in this reading. We are looking today at the energies around false twin flames. If you resonate with having been in one of these relationships, how can you learn what you need to learn from it and really resolve it? The inspiration for these readings comes from this series that I'm doing. So if you're interested in this series, do please have a look at my channel for the rest of these readings, and I'll link them in the post notifications, or the post and the comments below. But we're inspired today by the living goddesses of the musical world. The focus for today is Cher. So I was coming up with this and sort of just popped into my head at the time when Venus was in Pisces in her exalted state, looking at these three beautiful living goddess ladies in our pop cultural awareness who express different layers of the divine feminine and who express different aspects of the triple moon goddess. So Cher to me is more of that dark moon phase, that light, darker energy, sort of that edgier, wilder, more expressing of her really divine feminine sexuality, and really being just open and liberal about who she is and really unapologetic in such an inspiring way. So these cards come to mind. I'm inspired by the song If I Could Turn Back Time. You know, if I could turn back time, if I could find a way, and if I could reach the stars, I'd give them all to you. So we have the stars card, which is all about hope. Also Age of Aquarius. She's very much an Aquarian kind of lady. I don't think that that would be her star sign, and I haven't looked it up. But she definitely embodies that sort of spirit, the spirit of the 60s, and coming into that revolutionary period of owning who she is and just being, again, unapologetically open about how and who she is. And then also that sort of dark moon energy coming into balancing karmic relationships, but also coming into that harmony of how we learn from the different relationships that we find ourselves in throughout life. So I'd love to know in the comments below what you think about this series, and I'd also love to have you check out the rest of these videos if you're so inclined. And we'll go ahead and focus in on the questions of today, which are, again, if you resonate with having been on a false twin flame journey, again, you're not alone. Many of us are in that space of exploring that, and that has partly to do with the astrological energies that have been around us up until this sort of new cycle that we're beginning to step into with this new moon in Aquarius, in the new Lunar New Year, year of the rat, the metal rat, which is completion of a massive 60-year cycle, and also the old energy that we had around the last time that Saturn and Pluto were conjunct. This time they're in Capricorn, but before they were in Libra. So the ways that we were expressing relationships throughout the past few decades have been all playing out and leading many to have this experience of either a twin flame or maybe even a false twin flame. So a false twin flame is such an intense karmic relationship that it feels like you might be part of the same soul. But what it is instead, it's just like you're playing out a lot of relationship karma with each other. And very likely the reason why you're doing this now is because you're clearing out that energy. You're learning the lessons that you need to learn so that your true twin flame, or your true, deep, destined, fated, divine partnership can come through. So if this is something that you resonate with, you can be feeling quite down and out about love, but there's hope. And the reason why you're going through this, again, like this is all happening for you, not to you. And so you're here to gather in the lessons, gathering the healing so you can step forward as we are coming into this February Aquarius energy, which will soon be followed up by renewal of romance, renewal of relationships in our Valentine's Day energy. So looking at this, we have our 3 piles. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. It's pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. So coming into your intuitive space of knowing, zoning in, zeroing in on your inner being, stepping forward to help you receive the messages of this reading. Coming to your 3 rounds of mindful breath to allow that inner being to step forward. As you complete the 3rd round of your deep mindful breaths, coming to hone in, zero in on the pile or piles that may be speaking to you. If you need a few more moments, now's the time to pause the video to let that inner knowing step forward. And we'll go ahead and jump on into pile number 1. Pile number 1, what's this twin flame dynamic you got going and how can you resolve it? So first, we look at what are the energies that you are expressing in this relationship right now. We have the Ace of Chalices. So you may have quite a lot of water energy in your astrological chart. The aces are that root of the sort of the spiritual root of the water signs. So that could be that you are a Cancer, a Scorpio, or a Pisces. Or it could also just be that you are really embodying those energies right now. You're tapped into your emotions, you're tapped into your intuition, which is why you might be resonating with a twin flame tarot reading. It could also be why you really were wanting to bring in this soul connection of a twin flame, is because that's really a part of your deeper expression of your emotional truth at this time. What energy are they embodying in this relationship? We have the World in reverse. All right, so they are possibly what you might be doing with them is aiding them in making some completions. The World card ruled by Saturn, so all about maturity, leveling up, coming up in reverse. They might be resisting that maturity. They might be expressing themselves to you in a very immature way, or not sitting in the shadow side of Saturn, which is again karmic. So karma is Saturn is one of the rulers of karma, but also like really stuck in their ways and stuck in the old ways, stuck in like in the creation myths of the Greeks, where Saturn begins. What he was doing was he was eating his children because he didn't want to give up his power. So it could be that there's some way that this partnership of yours is sort of like destroying the fruits that you're creating because this person doesn't want to completely release the power that they think they have already. What are the lessons that you are learning from them? At this time, you have strength coming up in reverse. So strength, all about embodying your power. Also a lot of insight with this purple energy coming up in reverse. This could be an indication that you need to be making a breakthrough and really tapping into your inner strength. So reverse cards could indicate breakthroughs. It could also be an indication that you need to look at the 10, which would be the card in front of this. So looking at how you are playing with luck. How are you taking risks? How are you dealing with risky behaviors? But really, I'm seeing stepping up into your inner strength and allowing the insight to be pointed inwards, not just outwards for you. What's the lesson they're learning from you? We have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. All right, so this is a manifestation number 8, as above, so below, and also a card that's all about productivity and really being financially abundant. I see this as for like the active businessman, maybe another lower order expression of Capricorn energy coming up in reverse that could again be tapping into this reverse of Saturn. So maybe they're coming into their Saturn return right now, but they're resisting that maturity that comes along with it. So they're also resisting leveling up in the way that they are experiencing their physical abundance, their financial abundance, but it could also be that they're learning to turn that manifestation of their own physical reality inward. So they need to be looking to themselves, and especially not to you, to be the source of their own income. So like if you're providing for them, they need to learn to do that for themselves. What are the blockages that you experience from them? In what ways are they blocking you in your growth? We have the 5 of Swords in reverse. So the 5 of Swords, 5 cards in the Minor Arcana are about challenges, and then the Swords, this is to the mind. This is all about sort of like a Pyrrhic victory, or fighting even though you know you're going to lose. Kind of reminds me of like the 300 in Sparta, and you know they knew this is a fight to the death, sort of like a suicide mission kind of thing. Like you know that you're going to die, but you're going to do this anyway because you think it's right. Coming up in reverse, the challenge, the block that they're getting from that you are getting from them is that you might be trying to hold on to this. You might be trying to keep sticking to this idea that we are twin flames and we're just going through this cycle because, you know, we need to learn from each other. But the block that you might be experiencing from them is releasing this Pyrrhic victory, releasing this self-sacrificing energy that I'm seeing, especially if you're financially sacrificing for them. That's a thing that might be a blockage for you from them. So how are you blocking them? We have the Tower in reverse. All right, so yeah, they need to level up, they need to mature, they need to grow up. And the Tower moment is that massive breakthrough, catastrophic, immediate change, especially with this card in the mental domain. So they need to make a mental breakthrough. They need to make a breakthrough in the way that they are seeing the world and being in the world, and the way that they express their knowledge and their wisdom. You're blocking them from making that leap and from making that breakthrough because, you know, Tower moments are really painful, and you love this person and you don't want them to be in pain, but sometimes people need to have a little bit of pain to integrate the lesson. So you're blocking them and making this breakthrough because you think you're protecting them. But, you know, sometimes you just need to let it go. So how can you resolve this situation, group number 1? 9 of Chalices. So you need to take stock of the emotional abundance that you have already and be willing to, again, complete the cycle. So this may be that separation would be right for you. You may already be in a space of separation, but looking forward and looking, so he's facing the future here in this card. So looking forward in a way that really objectively observes what was present, especially emotionally for you, as you're resonating a lot of this water energy. So emotions might be really raw for you at this time, but looking forward for what you learned emotionally from this and how you can, know what you want, know what you don't want, and bring that forward with you into your next phase. So what's our words of healing wisdom for you, group number 1? We have, know that truth is a living force, whether you believe it or not. All right, so what I'm getting at is you might still be, you've been hanging on to this idea for a long time. Your thoughts are your things, right? Your thoughts are things. Your thoughts are really important for how you manifest things, but you might be manifesting a relationship that is less than what you deserve. It's less than what you really have come here to experience in your life. It's less than your true twin flame connection because you're stuck in this narrative. You're stuck in this belief that this person is your twin flame. And so if you allow that possibility to be true that they're not, and then you instead allow for this possibility that you're just here to learn something from each other, that truth will be true despite what you think. So it's a bit of a double think in some ways, because in manifestation, what you believe to be true in some level really is. So your personal truth really matters a lot, but there's also sort of this external reality, especially the truth that they believe, is going to matter a lot too. And if they don't believe that you're their twin flame, then you're not going to be in some way. Like, you'll just know. And it's you're here because this is already an indication that this is not the connection that you're meant to be taking forward. So really being objective, as I said, about what really went down for both of you, how you showed up and how you manifested this relationship as much as how they did. And allow that truth to be dynamic. So as you continue to explore the layers of what you learned together, your narrative about how this happened for you will continue to shift and change, and that's okay. So allowing your understanding of this relationship and your understanding of twin flames in general, your understanding of spirituality and of souls that you learned through this can be a very dynamic thing that you can allow to continue to evolve. Those are the messages I have for you, group number 1. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your messenger through these readings. I hope to see you again very soon. If you liked this video, I'd love for you to give it a like and maybe hit the subscribe button to join the community. We'd love to have you continuing on in this journey with this channel. And while you're at it, please give us a comment down below. Let me know how this sat with you. I'd love to see you again very soon. And until then, we're going to head on to group number 2. Group number 2, what's going on with this false twin flame you seem to have found yourself either in or recently in, and how can you really accept the full lessons that this experience has offered you? So first, how were you energetically? What's the sort of description of who you were in this relationship or who you have been in this relationship? We have the 8 of Wands. So you have been all about expanding, especially expanding your energy, expanding your spirit in a big way, manifesting a big shift in your spirit, manifesting a big shift, possibly manifesting 8 being the manifestation number, something really big in your life to level up your soul. So that's probably why you were trying to call in a twin flame in the first place, is that you wanted that deep soul experience. What was the energy they were bringing into this, or have been bringing into this relationship? We have the 10 of Wands in reverse. So again, another energetic connection. So Wands being the fire energy of spirit. 10 of Wands also typically talks about overworking or trying too hard. In this particular card, we also have just that sort of sophistication, that experience of completion of a soul cycle with that 10 energy. Coming up in reverse, they might be blocking completion of their soul cycle. So you've been leveling up your spirit. You've possibly teamed up with them. They might have been maybe a few steps further along. Maybe they're at a 9 instead of a 10. You're at an 8 instead of a 9. But they're at the space where they were trying to learn from you to become a 10, and you were trying to learn from them to become a 9. But they're blocking that completion for some reason. What is the lesson that you are learning from them? Group number 2, we have the 2 of Wands in reverse. Yep. So, in general, 2 of Wands in reverse may be indicating a false twin flame scenario. So the Wands being fire, 2 being twins. It's pretty literal. Coming up in reverse, this might be an indication to you to complicate the way that you think about spiritual balance, the way that you think about soul growth, the way that you think about how partnerships at the soul level will happen. And what are they learning from you? We have the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. So the 7 of Pentacles, to me, speaks all about having those fruits of your karmic labors coming to bear, coming up, but they're not quite ready to harvest yet. So it's sort of that delicious anticipation of something that you know is coming but isn't quite here yet. Coming up in reverse, they might be learning patience. So coming up in reverse, that indicates to me that they want to harvest these fruits closer to their now moment, but they're blocking that because they're resonating too much on the lack of its expression rather than the lack of it. So they might be frankly feeling quite disappointed that you aren't their twin flame and they're not really taking in the full scope of the experience that you're having with them, because you're both learning to, again, do that leveling up. So they need to be a bit more patient about how that fruit of their karmic labor. So if you're learning from each other, you're expressing karma with each other. They're helping you and you're helping them, and they're sort of maybe being a bit impatient about getting paid for that, so to speak. So what is the way that you are being blocked by them? How is your spiritual growth, your soul level growth being blocked by them at this point? We have the Knight of Swords in reverse. So the Knight of Swords, this is the combination of air and air. So knights bring in the element of air and whatever suit they have, which is swords, which is air again. So bringing service of the mind. So you're being blocked right now. Your mind is maybe working too hard. You're probably overthinking this relationship a lot, or you have been overthinking it quite a lot. If you've experienced that sort of separation and chasing dynamic that seems to be part of the twin flame soul journey. You might have been getting maybe a bit ghosted by them. You're feeling a lot of distance from them, and in that space of like non-communication, your mind is working overdrive, and that overactivity of the mind will almost every single time, nearly 100% of the time, block spiritual growth, because spirit can't talk to you when your mind is overactive. And what is your presence in their life blocking for them? How are you blocking them? Group number 2, we have the Chariot in reverse. So they're in a space where they're not really aligning with their inspired action. So Chariot is all about victory, going through the woods. You've got this big journey ahead of you, but you're supported in making it in this sort of intuitive leap. Right? It's all about aligned, inspired action. Coming up in reverse, they're not following their intuition. They're not following that divine guidance. They're not following that inspired action. All reverse cards for them, and many reverse cards for you too, because of the way that they are. Again, they could be disappointed that you weren't what they thought you wanted to be, or maybe disappointed in the idea of love in general, and so they're blocking their blessings by being stuck in this concept of what they should be, or what they could be, or what you should be, or what you could be. So yeah, just big blockages there with how they're able to follow their heart at this point in time. So what do we have as some advice for how you can resolve this situation? We have the 4 of Chalices. Offering a gift of spirit is being offered to you, and it's up to you to choose it. I often read this as there's this renewal, this abundance that's being offered to you, especially this emotional revitalization that's being offered to you, but your eyes are closed. You're not ready to accept it. And this might also be another a go at this relationship. And with this sort of blocked energy in this woman here, as she's sitting under this tree all tuckered out, it could be that you are perceiving this gift of an opportunity to revitalize this relationship, and again being on that sort of like separation, rejoining cycle. Maybe it's time to break that cycle, because maybe it's not actually a gift of spirit, but sort of like a test in some sense, and not a test in like the spirit is trying to catch you out or anything. It's just sort of like, have you integrated this lesson yet? Have you integrated this lesson yet? Have you integrated this lesson yet? So setting the intention that yes, I have, and so you can get the real offering of spiritual evolution that you're seeking, rather than just continuing to repeat this boom and bust cycle with your partner at this time. So what is the words of healing wisdom we have for you, group number 3? Group number 2. Group number 2, we're not at 3 yet. We have, learn to keep your heart open and soft through the trials of life. Yep. So, false twin flame journeys are never fun. They can be quite scarring, especially if you've sort of shifted what your perception of love is. So the best way to move forward is to keep your heart open, keep listening to your heart. The imagery that I like to visualize when I'm thinking about my deep karmic relationships and how I'm releasing them is, you might get the sensation of like your heart is clenched, like it's just tightly shut. So allowing yourself to unclench it, visualizing as if your heart is a clenched fist and just releasing it. So keeping it open. If you lock your heart away, you'll lose it for sure. Trusting that love is still here for you, trusting the true twin flame relationship is here for you, setting your intention to allow it to come forward by being very clear on what you've learned from this and what this shows to you that you do and do not want in your next connection. So the messages I have for you, group number 2, thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, to be your messenger through these readings. I would love to hear what you think about this series, about this reading in the comments below. If you like this video, do please give it a like, and I'd also love to have you join this growing community by hitting that subscribe button. Thank you again for allowing me to be your guide, and I will see you again very soon. Until then, heading on to group number 3. Alrighty, group number 3. What's going on with this false twin flame you got going? How can you get out of it? What can you learn from it? How can you grow? So, what is the energy that you have been expressing? How have you been showing up in this relationship? Group number 3. Ooh, we have the devil in reverse. All right, so lots of passion, but releasing that, releasing the bondages, releasing the attachments that you've had. So this could have been quite a long cycle of karmic relationship for you, maybe over many lifetimes with this particular individual. And so you've just been learning a heck of a lot from each other through this attachment, but you're in this space where you're getting ready to release that attachment through this deep learning so that you can come to your true twin flame. What is the expression that they've been bringing into this relationship? We have the 6 of Chalices in reverse. So the 6 of Chalices is about genuine, deep friendship, and it's also in this card about childhood, stuff that was learned in childhood, and coming up in reverse and seeing a lot of inner child work. So you've been learning to release attachments, maybe release expectations about how, relationships should work. They've been working on healing their inner child quite a lot through this relationship, or dealing with some inner child trauma, inner child wounds that have been brought to the surface because of how they've been showing up and how you've been showing up in the relationship. This also could be an indication, like in a lot of passion, but that you maybe have been making them feel a bit childish, or been treating them a bit more as like a child, or sort of they've been sort of playing out that dynamic of where they've been needing more of your care and you haven't been getting as much as you wanted. So what have you been learning from them? Queen of Wands in reverse. So Queen of Wands, this is the feminine expression of mature energy, of mature spirit, coming up in reverse. You've been learning to bring that mothering energy to yourself, so mothering yourself through spirit, but also it could be the Queen of Wands is sort of that spiteful, energetic woman. She's sort of like fire is turned to sort of a wildfire, maybe a little bit of burnout in the way that she's expressing her femininity. So that could be that you're learning how to moderate that fire in the way that you are caring for other people, caring for yourself, through the way that you've been expressing and experiencing this relationship. What have they been learning from you? We have the 6 of Pentacles in reverse. So the 6 of Pentacles is all about generosity, and I often see this as this well-to-do man is walking along the street and he's offering this gift of generosity to this street angel here who but for the grace of I go I. There, but for the grace of God go I. So like seeing the humanity in other people and noticing that they're just as worthy of things that you have as you are. And if you're resonating with like a spiritual business, also being aware of that money is just a mechanism for transmitting energy, and so money should be flowing to you because you use it for good things like supporting these people who are down on their luck. So coming up in reverse, what they're trying to learn, what they are being asked to learn through their relationship with you is generosity to themselves, turning their generous energies toward themselves, and also releasing scarcity mindset, releasing any sort of perception of lack that they may have had, especially financial lack, and allowing for energy exchange to happen in a more balanced way. What are you experiencing as a blockage in your soul growth and your soul experience from them? How are they blocking you? We have the 5 of Chalices in reverse. So 5 of Chalices is often about sort of nostalgia, looking to the past in a way that blocks you from really accepting especially the emotional fulfillment of the future. So the way that you're blocked is that you may be in a space where you're quite burnt by this at this point, and you're not really seeing the gifts of what you've experienced emotionally through this relationship that you do need to really integrate so that you can move forward, because there is more abundance here for you in the future. You're looking towards the future, but you do have to integrate the past as well. At the very least, just set the intention to allow the lessons to be absorbed and allow yourself to clear the karma so that you can move forward. In what ways are you blocking them? We have the Queen of Chalices. All right, so again, I'm getting that sense of like maybe you were mothering them a lot. We've got a lot of reversed queen energy coming through. So you might be blocking them from leveling up their emotional ability to take care of themselves and really, again, mother themselves, because maybe they've been leaning a bit heavily upon you for their emotional well-being, for their emotional fulfillment. They haven't been doing that work to heal their inner child and grow themselves. What is the resolution to the relationship for you? Group number 3, we have the Knave of Chalices. So take a new direction in the way that you're expressing your emotions. It might be that you need to really just have an open and frank conversation about the relationship with them, even if the relationship has already ended. Having a sort of, if you're able, I'm the sort of person that when I break up with a person, I don't ever want to see or talk to them again, to the point where, like, not necessarily on purpose, but kind of maybe on purpose, I've moved to other countries to the extent of like wanting to get away from them. So if that's not on the cards for you, completely understand. That's how I do things. But if it is, it might be worthwhile having an open-hearted conversation about what really went on so that you can heal. You can absorb the karma that you need to release these attachments, release these low vibrational attachments that you've been experiencing maybe lifetime after lifetime, and let them heal their inner child. So what is our parting words of wisdom for you? Healing wisdom, group number 3. We have avoid hateful thoughts, as they are just as hurtful as physically striking someone. Yep. So especially, again, like, I totally understand how difficult this can be if this is already a broken up relationship, if you've already parted ways officially. Avoid being spiteful. That's what you're being asked to learn here, is to drop the spiteful beliefs, drop the blame. Know that you're experiencing this for a reason, and it is for you, not to you. You're not a victim, and you're not, if you have been experiencing a victimizing energy, either by being the victimizer or the victimized, finding a way of healing through that, finding a way of releasing that, finding a way of letting that, the way that you brought that into your life, become a little bit more clear to you by stepping back and being the observer, rather than assigning a value or assigning anyone any blame. Because again, you only perpetuate the problem, you only perpetuate the pain if you sit in this space of hate. Finding a way to love into this will help you level up and really hone in again on what you really do want in a relationship, who you really are meant to be with, rather than sort of forcing things in this way. All right, those are the message I have for you. Group number 3, I am so delighted to have been your guide and your messenger through these readings. I'd love to know in the comments below how this settled in for you. What do you think about this series? What do you think about this reading? Please let me know, and maybe you'd like to give this video a like. We'd also really love to have you join this growing community around the channel. If you'd like to do so, please hit that subscribe button. Love to see you again here very soon. And until then, as always, go in peace to love and to serve. Namaste.